Organization. He's also the Chief Executive Officer of Lumium, a creative product design company which is based in Palo Alto, California. Let's put our hands together to welcome on stage Mr. Srinivasan.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. So it's indeed my privilege and also my pleasure to be in front of this august audience. And on behalf of World Design Organization, it's our privilege to be part of this rebuilding Kerala, especially Kochi. So today we want to talk about design as a tool for social design, because that's what we need to do in many communities. So we see that as a part of the World Design Organization. My job is to participate in various cities around the globe, and Kochi is no different. I think thoughts are very similar in terms of what one needs to do for sustainability as a key goal. So a brief background. So I live in San Jose, the beautiful California, for the last 27-28 years. I run a product design company called Lumium, as well as a user experience design called CubeStack. And I recently got involved in a venture fund. So let's talk a little bit about the World Design Organization. World Design Organization was erstwhile known as ICSID, International Council of Societies of Industrial Design, where my dear friend Darryl Kochi used to be a board member in the past times, and he was part of the NID. So this is a global organization that actually promotes the profession of industrial design. Industrial design is very key to any development of products and services. So this organization is 62 years, and recently we changed the name to World Design Organization because the challenges of design from a holistic point of view has moved away from industrial design to the other faculties of design. So therefore, we felt compelled that we should change the definition of industrial design to be more inclusive of not only the products but also the services and the user experience of how a product should be designed. So therefore, we felt the need to change the definition. It was very hard for us to change the name and drop the word industrial. So how many of these are industrial designers? I know there's one. So it was very contentious for us to drop the word industrial from our name, but we succeeded after 2 years of board meetings and whatnot. So today we actually are called World Design Organization. Some of the programs that we do are actually celebrating the design with cities, with communities, and also with marginalized communities. So we have several programs that actually are talking about. So World Design Capital is a program where every 2 years we designate that city which actually wants to celebrate design for 365 days through different actual events that take place. So today, 2018 Mexico City was there, 2016 was Taipei, 2014 was Cape Town, 12 was Helsinki, and 10 was Torino. 2020 is Lille, Metro in France, and 2022 maybe Kochi. So this is still, the bid is open. March 2019 is the last date for that. So I'm hope that you will find the energy to apply for a World Design Capital. That will be the hallmark of putting Kochi on the global map. So what do we do as World Design Organization? We are a non-profit organization, so we have limited resources, but we have a global platform. We also have a reach across the multiple colleges, universities, corporates like us, as well as promotion agencies that come together to see how can we promote design in a manner that is useful to the community. So we motivate, we inspire, we have a lot of the programs. We actually were supporting the Millennium Development Goals until UN decided to rehash their goals for the globe to make it a better world by the year 2030. So we actually took the 17 goals that are there, which everybody is talking about, so I'm not going to go deep into that. So what we are looking at is to, by the year 2030, what are we going to do? Can we do a little bit for us? everybody can do a little bit to make the place a better place for all of us to live. And especially for the younger generation, we want to leave them a legacy that will be to take them forward for the next phase of their lives. So that's what the 2030 goals are there. Among the 17 goals, we cannot take everything and then celebrate everything within a short period of time. We as industrial designers, primarily coming from the background of industrial designers, we actually have taken these 7 goals as our key areas that we want to define. Not only defining is very easy. How do we measure ourselves in these areas is a critical aspect of anything that we get into. I mean, it's easy for us to say these are the things that we will do, but subsequently we don't measure what we are doing. So this is what we intend to measure and present it in our global report. So for the next few slides, I'm going to show you what is happening in the world in the goals that UN has set. So we have the goals that we see in terms of goal number 3. So there are a lot of related to the birth rate skill. The infant genocide is going down. Water and sanitation is improving for sure. Clean energy, everybody is talking about clean energy today because there's a lot of focus on clean energy, as well as the industry infrastructure, sustainable cities. We see that a lot of smart city movements are happening around the globe where people are very focused on how to make the cities smarter than what they are, as well as sustainable production in the form of reducing consumption. US is guilty of too much consumption, but there are other societies which are consuming less. We are trying to get there. And then we also know one cannot do everything by themselves. So therefore, partnerships are becoming more and more useful and also very effective. So I want to actually show that India was not anything less. In the year 1979, when sustainability goals were not defined by the UN, so Ahmedabad actually had a declaration. If you Google it, you will see the details. NAD was instrumental in hosting that conference in 1917 in April with the UNIDO and as well as ICSID, which was WTO at that time. So this is a very important milestone for India in terms of telling the audience, telling the population what design can do and how designs can create themselves into a better place for all of us. If you really look at the philosophical way of all of our lives, right? So in India, we are taught right from the childhood as to what we should do. Sustainability is something which we are actually born within. We actually are told as a child, growing up with your grandparents or parents, we are always told, don't waste things. If you put something on your plate, you better eat that. You cannot throw it because it's stored in your scenario. Similarly, we have all these, the used paper is a big thing. We always collect the paper. We don't throw it like we do in our other cities or other societies. We collect them because there is money in it, because we can always sell the papers at the end of the month or 2 months or 3 months. That can bring you another meal or maybe some monies, you can collect it and the paper is recycled. So it's always there in our scenario. As well as we have seen, in terms of I grew up in many parts of India, in Chennai and North and other places. At times we cannot get water, so we have to actually have a small bucket where we just dip, our hands and then, maybe just put a little bit of water as opposed to a 20 minutes shower that we are luxurious life is there. So if you recall in Cape Town, there was a acute shortage of water. People were restricted to having less than 4-minute shower. Otherwise, they have to pay a fine because they did not have enough water. But all of these things have come to us naturally through our grandparents and parents have been telling us how we should sustain ourselves. Similarly, we don't really, the beautiful sun is there for us to dry the clothes. Even if you have a machine, we have more semi-automatic washing machines in India than the rest of the world. Because, you cannot use power to dry your clothes because we have enough sunshine. So let us make use of it. So that's the land which we come from. And how is India doing? So I took, when I was going to speak on this, I'm not very well versed into the local happenings out here because I don't live here these days. But Niti Aayog has a fantastic report that they submitted in 2017 to the UN. So that gives us some idea of what India is doing towards sustainability and sustainability development goals. So it's a fantastic report, so please take time because I have 30 minutes to do. So I'm going to just cover a few points so that we can illustrate some other things. So this is one of the important slides. What we are looking at is, of course, the statistics of money subject, right? Depending on which day, which way you look at it, it's going to give you a different picture. So this is what, but we all know that at a reasonable level of confidence, we can say that India grew at 6.2% and subsequently grew at 8.3%. Of course, currently maybe that's not true, it may be slightly down from what I know of. But the challenge for us is, the best part of the news here is that we reducing the level of poverty. Our per capita income is increasing on a year-to-year basis, largely due to the partnerships and also India demonstrating itself as a very viable market for the Western world. So there's a lot of things happening around that really helps us in reducing the poverty, which was one of the key goals of Sustainable Development Goals of UN is poverty reduction. Similarly, how is the discrimination addressing? This is the Western world's worry all the time when they talk about the developing countries or semi-developed countries like India, where the gender equality is still a big topic for the Westerners. Right? So we don't have enough board members on the boards of the public companies. Are we getting enough attention for the feminine gender in terms of equality in pay, equality in job opportunities? I think this slide tells us that we are making progress. Of course, progress is progressive, so we cannot definitely put a number to it, but the good part is the statistics show us that we are making progress. Similarly, all housing by 2022 is kind of maybe a statement, but we are making some progress is what this chart tells us. So, what can businesses do to support the sustainable development goals? Because as I said earlier, partnerships is very critical, as well as we need to really come together to see what can we do to contribute. As companies, as corporates, we all have lots of resources at our hands. Besides having the profitability as our single goal, the ROI should be also in the social content of ROI, where we can say, how do we monitor ourselves? How do we do better in terms of creating a supplier network that can be focused on SDGs? So those are some of the points that I put here, where we can control the environment through our own measures and educating the industrial segment here. So design is actually a catalyst for change. We all know that, we all believe in that. If you look at why should we do social good? What should we do? Social design. So what is the social design here? So if you look at sorry, I have to go back. A lot of times design is actually taken care by the well-to-do kind of companies or well-to-do societies. But what about the marginalized communities? What about people who cannot afford the basic things that we all have to have as being in a society, being in a city? So that's where these socially impactful designs come, and that's where even World Design Organization, we actually support it by supporting a program called World Design Impact Tracks. We'll talk about it in a minute. So the socially impactful designs are more interpersonal, institutional, political and social. So these are the aspects that are being touched by the very designers. We produce products for making profits. At the same time, we can also produce solutions that are actually using the design as a tool that can touch upon those segments of the society which are generally neglected by the political as well as the commercial sectors. So, designers, we have the power to change the world. If you look at the Arab Spring or any of the other social activities that are going around the globe, so designers have the power. Today, if somebody does something and puts it on the social media, it's going to be taken over by the social media. So people will come and give brickbats or they'll give you roses, depending on how the impact of your action is there. So that's the power that we all have as designers. And what we look at is how do we convert that power into having critical insights into the socially impactful solutions. So that's what we are looking when we are talking about the social good. Actually, design can dismantle the old social structure, and that's what we have been witnessing. The last 10 years, you see, you would have done lots of new things that have come, largely due to the fact that designers have taken a bolder step than what they have been doing traditionally, following the model of building products. So the next few slides, we're going to talk about what do you mean by social design? I don't get it. So that's the usual question people ask. What do you say by social design? So the social good, examples are OpenIDEO actually conducted research into water being one of the critical resources, and they chose India as a country where they want to see how can we find out what is lacking and how can we do. And two NGOs came up and they actually created solutions in terms of educating basic sanitation needs for the household, as well as finding what can be done for the female hygiene in terms of how do they dispose the pads and stuff like that. We have a lot of movies now, but this was done slightly before the movie came. So this was one of those projects. Similarly, in Matahari in Kenya is one of the largest slums, like the slum that we have in Mumbai, where Dharavi is there. So they actually went into this was a project that one of the UK universities undertook, the architects undertook this project, and they went and talked to the community, which nobody was willing to go into because this is a very bad slum, people get scared because there may be a lot of crime and other stuff. But they went into the slums to ask them, what would you like to see? We are architects, we would like to ask you, what would you like to see in your community that will be useful for you? And they never had this opportunity of somebody coming and asking. So they were very thrilled and they actually started discussing in a very, very co-creative mode. And eventually they ended up building community centers that would be solving majority of the problems. The majority of the problems in most of the slums is they don't have basic sanitation, so they don't have really the use of toilets is something unknown to them. So those are some of the basic fundamental requirements of a human being. Those were actually things that were solved through this co-creative process. Not only that, they also use the material that's available within the community. So therefore, they piloted this and went to other different parts of the world where there are marginalized people are living. So that was a very successful scenario. The Homi is a very interesting story. So we all hear different kind of stories in China, and this one is actually along the Yellow River Delta, which runs to 5,000 kilometers and covers 9 provinces. So their problem was urbanization, which we all know is one of the major problems as well as necessity evils for us, because urbanization. So along the river belt, they all started moving in, industry started coming. By the year 2000, so more than 26% of the water was not being used for irrigation, but they were being used for industry. Therefore, the Chinese government, they decided at that time that we need to have a multidisciplinary, multi-talented team that needs to come in to solve this kind of problem, because it's just not the farmers or the engineers or the industrialists. So they formed a team that came together, and then they measured the aspects of how we can do, and they put in a proposal to the Chinese government. Therefore, they became very, very climate resilient and environmentally sound agricultural production is the plan they just came up with, CRESPA, and that's something that they recommended. And there is some success, there is some not so great success, so that's a report that talks about. And in Cuba, due to the rule that they were having in a different scenario, they became heavily dependent on the Western other worlds for food. So their food bill came up to like $2 billion, and they were really struggling because 3 things were happening. One is the agricultural land, nobody wants to go and till the land, because this is the problem happening throughout the globe, where people move to the metros not wanting to do the agriculture. This is happening in India as well as in other countries. And the younger generation do not want to do any agriculture. So they want to be the AI specialist and software specialist and all those kind of things. So therefore, so the city, they came up and they said, like, we are going to do an NGO program where we teach the kids at a very young age alternative skills. So, and they also wanted to reduce the dependence of the food bill, that is one of the topmost for the exchequer. they reduced it through a program that they were trying to do in Cuba. The next 4 or 5 of them are very funny and as well as very exciting. Kuja Kuja is in Swahili means come come. So they actually, most of the time the UN gives a lot of funds to people who are needing. Most of the time it goes to a lot of the African countries. So in this case they actually, and most of them don't know where the money is going because we just cannot find out after some time the money is 10 million is spent. Nobody knew what happened, who got it. So this was another app that IDEO developed. So where they said, we're going to find out, we're going to give it to the people in the community who are supposed to be getting the funds from the government or the programs, to ask them how these funds were distributed and what is your feeling and how it is used. And it was a hugely successful program in certain countries, especially in Rwanda as well as in Uganda. So the next one is a center in Korea. Korea has the largest per capita income. They grew such a vastly in the last 10 years. And they are currently more than $10,000 per capita income from 6,500 or whatever in 2004. So they built a center. Still they have problem. If you think money is there, there is no problem, we are wrong. Because money is there, but you still need a lot of other services. So the older couple, they can go to this center because the kids are no longer living with them. This is the other problem the society is experiencing these days. So that problem is solved through the city provided center where one can go there and say, I need some help in doing small activities of finding paying their bills or getting a small loan for doing some other stuff. So this center actually helps them do that stuff. Seeing is actually another one which is Microsoft's gift to the blind people. There are 239 million blind people in the world. So this is a Microsoft application that actually supports those people. And Insights is a very interesting Pune-based NGO that actually produces the very nicely written braille for people who can read. This is especially for the girls' school in Pune. And Donald House is in Palo Alto, where the HP founders, they've got this, where the terminally ill children, for the last few days they can come in and they can enjoy and play because the parents are very stressed out. So this is something that really touches the hearts for all of us because kids need attention, especially if they're terminally ill. We want to help them in whatever we can do. Singapore is a recent example. This was a fantastic thing as far as SDG is concerned. Earlier this year, they brought in 1,500 people around the globe and then they put them in a huge space for about a week and asked them to do the prototyping of some of the selected goals that they chose. So World Design Impact Prize, we talked about it. So in Kenya, we actually rewarded a solution that was building community cookers because people were burning firewoods. We see it in India in many cities on the side of the walk and they build their cooking their own stuff and causing little more problem to the air. So they built a community kitchen where anybody can go in there and do, the vessels are provided, the firewood is there, the fuel is there, so they have a chimney, it's properly maintained. This won the best prize in 2012. We have an independent jury that awards a cash prize as well as a certificate. This was not anywhere but in India. This is David Swan from UK. So he's a design professor. So he actually led this project where he felt that almost 63% of the syringes that are used in India are likely to be contaminated. The word is likely to be because we don't have exact statistics. But this solution, they created that syringe in such a way that once you use, then the color changes to red. So obviously, if there is a red syringe, you can tell the guy, hey, don't use that. I need another one which is not red. So this was awarded in the year 2014. And 2016 is this solution won multiple awards throughout the globe after we actually identified this to be one of the best solutions for Ethiopia, because they said every drop counts. They started collecting not only the rainwater harvesting kind of scenario, they made it also a community center as well as solar power on the towers. This was entirely built by the community by themselves using materials. So this was one of the best so far that I have seen, as well as they built community garden around so that they can grow some vegetables and that can be shared by the community as well. So we don't have those kind of challenges in our country, fortunately, here in India. But these are something that we normally cannot foresee. But this is what, these solutions are helping, so therefore we reward them. So what do? So we actually enable the solutions that are around the globe. We celebrate, we reward them. That's what we do. And at the end of 2 years, we actually come back and report it saying this is what happened in our World Design Report, which happens every 2 years. The next General Assembly is in the city of Hyderabad in October 2019. So some of you may be able to participate and enjoy what's happening around there. So how can we do better? This is something which everybody wants to know, not only in Kochi, every city wants to know. This is a very generic template. It's not specific to Kochi or any other city. A lot of times, this was what I said in Fredericton in Canada. It's a very small community. Everything is going well. But increase the awareness. A lot of time, people don't know what's happening. So people always are willing to criticize. Earlier I was saying, if I walk into any immigration counter in India, in the last few years, fantastic job those guys are doing. Whereas but people still want to crib because people do not know. When compared to you go to London, you go to Johannesburg, or you go to Chicago or New York, you have to spend much more time. There's more challenges for us when you go to the immigration counter. But in India, there's no such thing. So that's something which we need to educate so that people say, yes, we are doing a good job. Similarly, adopt technologies. Okay, whether it is going to bring, today is going to be data centric. Everybody is going to be doing more data. So do we have the technology that's going to support you in terms of the IoT or putting the bandwidth, around the city? We just have free internet around. And if you see in the paper last week, one of the cities in Luxembourg, they made transportation free because they figured out that's a way to make money more than charging people in terms of, paper tickets or whatever tickets. They said free transportation for anybody in Luxembourg. Of course, we are 1.4 billion people. There are businesses and economies based on this transportation as a model. So there's a different solution, but we need to find, remember, designers have the power to change and make a solution which is more amenable to the society that we are living in. Invest in networking. Also, become more international in outlook, which I'm very happy to see Kochi is doing through partnerships and bringing people like CIID and other people. So finally, enjoy life. It's okay, sometimes we cannot solve all the problems of the world, but we don't have to solve all the problems of the world as long as we solve one at a time. It's like the American football. You just go 1 inch ahead, everybody is happy. Within the 3 attempts, you're not losing the ball, then we are very happy. So thank you very much for listening to me, and I wish this event a grand success. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Srinivasan, for sharing with us the vision and mission of World Design Organization, and particularly the emphasis on how to use design for social good, because that is definitely an objective that we, the state of Kerala, shares. And now to present a memento to him as a token of our appreciation and respect, may I please invite on stage Mr. Harshan VV, Chief Minister's IT Fellow, one of the key organizers of this event. Welcome, sir. I request you gentlemen to take the center stage.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm happy to see this is in a recyclable material. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Srinivasan, please keep coming back to Kerala. Thank you, Mr. Harshan.